Good evening, everyone. After 30 long years, the Starkville cold case is finally solved, and the killer is headed to prison for the rest of his life. Michael Devaughn pleaded guilty Tuesday afternoon to killing Betty Jones of Starkville. As part of the plea deal, the second charge of sexual battery to Catherine Krigler was dropped. The case was closed with the help of DNA evidence, but that would not have been possible without the foresight of some of Starkville's finest. Our Cash Matlock has more on how the evidence was preserved for so long.
Solving a murder case has never been easy, and 30 years ago, before DNA testing was widely used, it was even more of a challenge.
At the time, in the early 90s, I don't believe we had as sophisticated DNA testing as we have today either.
Bud Maxey was the chief of police in Starkville at the time of Betty Jones's murder. He worked hand in hand with former lead investigator David Lindley and former Oktibbeha County Sheriff Dolph Bryan.
It was a culmination of a lot of years of wondering what was going to happen to this case. And I was very glad to see this time come up today and for this to be settled and solved once and for all.
Since then, Bill Lott has taken over the investigation. He says it would be an impossible case to solve had it not been for Maxey, Lindley, and Bryan. All three believed in the science.
But he told her back then, never give up, because, you know, the science wasn't there yet. I mean, in 1990, DNA was not even online. It was 95 before 7 states go online, but he told her to never give up. She listened to him, and she went through 5 chiefs and numerous detectives based off of what Bud Maxey told her, and he told her right.
And he was right. The preserved DNA was crucial evidence for the case.
We managed to preserve our evidence and all that and keep at it.
As time passed, though, investigators weren't sure if the case would be solved in their lifetime.
This was on my bucket list to get this. I'd like to see this case get solved and somebody stand for what somebody have to answer for what they did. And he answered for it today.
Time was also on the minds of the victims' families.
You know, we listened very closely to what the victims wanted. A lot of them were older and they wanted to try to get it resolved quickly and they wanted justice after waiting 30 years. So we really tried our best to push it as fast as we could.
The case has been through multiple departments, several chiefs, and a few different investigators. But all of those involved agree on one thing.
It could not have been solved without DNA.
Reporting in Columbus, Cash Matlock, WC.